everyone, I'm here to talk to you about the homework assignment that's due in your journal at the beginning of class on Thursday at 6 o'clock. And what I have typed on the screen is an example of what I'd like you to handwrite in your journal. So this probably won't take you more than, I wouldn't spend any more than 10, maybe 12 minutes on it. And I'm going to walk you through the parts that I need you to have. Excuse me. So you notice that I have just listed my topic at the top of my page. Pretend this is my journal. You know, I've typed it out just to present it to you. And my goal is to take the topic that I reported on in Essay 4 and turn it into an argument. My goal is to actually express a very clear opinion, just like that Jeb Galinkin expressed a very clear opinion about his feelings on, and his thinking, not just his feelings, but also his thinking on dangerous sports and what role they can play in young people's lives. So I'm going to take my topic, unschooling, and turn it into an argument. I want to be able to defend. I'm going to have supporting points that I think back up what my position is. So then you see I have my draft thesis, and I just typed this out as quickly as I could. So this is a draft and could possibly have errors. So I wrote, unschooling is the only alternative to America's public education system that will help young learners reclaim their sense of identity, process their emotions related to learning, and teach them to make good choices for their future. So, you know, a few things in there that are worded weird and whatever, but you guys see I have clearly expressed in my statement of purpose what my topic is, plus the point I want to make in the essay. I'm not just informing at this point. I'm saying it's the only way we can help students who are currently trapped in the public education system in America. And as I'm saying this to you, I'm coming up with some really good words like trapped. You know, I might want to go back and revise this sentence to make it even more powerful. Your thesis needs to be very, very strong, strongly expressing your belief about your topic. So far, pretty good rough draft of my thesis. I have an idea written down. Then I list out 4 reasons I believe this, and what I'm actually doing with this is envisioning my body paragraphs. I can kind of see that this is the information that I want to not only put in my essay. I might have to go research some more stuff, find some more database sources, find some authoritative websites, so I can go find more information that will help me to prove my point. But I'm also trying to make points in my body paragraphs that back up what my thesis says. So the first paragraph, you notice, I'm going to argue that first off, to support my overall thesis, that the public school system we have is in disrepair, that it's broken. And so I will give several examples, and this will be a good place for me to go find more sources, because in my report, I didn't talk about that. I didn't talk at all about what I think is broken in the public education system we currently have in America. I only talked about what is unschooling, how does it work, what does it look like when students and families do this, etc. I was just giving information. So now I want information that's going to help me to prove my point. So the first thing I obviously have to do is show how I think the public education system is not working. My next support point, you notice that I have above those 4 a heading. It says reasons I believe this, and then I have in parentheses supporting point. So you're hearing me say the next thing that will support my thesis, and I'm using that language because every reason I believe is going to help focus my paragraph, but it's also going to guide me through my paragraph, help me come up with the evidence that I need to give to prove my thesis, but also then leave room for me to explain my thinking. So the second support point you notice I have here is unschooling offers young learners with the guidance of a parent mentor to explore who they are now and who they want to become. So again, room for me to use sources. I imagine my report essay has some stuff about how unschooling works, so I might be able to go find that. But obviously, after I give the evidence for my source, then I'm going to have to explain the source information, but also in my own, with my own reasoning or my own logic, explain why unschooling is a better option for students because it's developing them as a person, thereby helping them to see their identity as a person. And so I might have to clarify that topic sentence, that reason a little bit better, but you guys kind of see this is a rough draft, so I'm pretty satisfied with that one for now. Number 3, another supporting point. Unschooling focuses on the physical and emotional well-being of the student, not just the student's cognitive abilities. So I will get to, again, use sources from my report, go find additional sources if I need to, and then explain in my own words how I believe unschooling is superior to the public school system in that it's developing a well-rounded person, not just focusing on what they've learned, what they've memorized, what they can regurgitate in tests, etc. And number 4, my last support point, unschooling enables students to choose areas of interest, risk-taking scenarios, and the way in which the student wants to be involved in their community. So again, I'll turn to my sources, show how that's happened, maybe come up with a few example families there are lots of families who actually blog about their experiences with unschooling, so I could use those as examples and then explain using my own logic why this is superior to the American public school system, in that students aren't just doing things to satisfy a college entrance requirement, but that they're actually being involved as human beings, actually developing themselves in ways that the school system doesn't always, the public school system doesn't always acknowledge or even allow. And then this is not the last part of my screen on my journal page here. You notice I have conclusion. And I would encourage you to do this part, but since I didn't ask you to do it in the homework when I announced it in class, you don't have to, but I would push yourself if I were you, because at the end, in your conclusion, you want to be able to have achieved something through your argument, right? You state at the beginning, hey, here's what I'm arguing for, here's my opinion about my topic. You have your supporting paragraphs that give all the information and also explain your point of view more clearly. And then at the end, you see I've written, so my goal by the end of the essay is to have shown how unschooling American teenagers would improve the disconnect students have to learning and how it is meant to develop the whole person. And I'm just thinking out loud because you guys have heard me say in class that I teach at 2 of the high schools. I teach English 122 in 2 of the high schools. I'm teaching a front range class at the high schools. And I'm currently right now working with high school students who are finishing their senior year, and they're really, really frustrated and bored in high school and disconnected, and they feel like they're just frustrated. Even some of them who know they've been admitted into colleges and know what they're doing in the fall still seem to be disconnected from what they've been doing in high school. And so by the end of this, I want to have achieved that. And I'm just thinking out loud because I'm also realizing right now that I might be able to use a few of the high school students that I work with as examples in those body paragraphs 1, 2, 3, and 4 that you see listed. I just want to clarify those reasons I believe, those become topic sentences, but of course I have to write full paragraph to develop those points. So all you're doing in the journal for the beginning of class on Thursday is to mimic what I've done, but with your topic. And then, of course, the second part of the assignment was to highlight the stuff in your report that you think you can actually keep and recycle and reuse into your argument. And you heard me making references to that. So somehow highlight or underline or circle spots that you want to keep. And again, I'll encourage you to cross out the stuff that you know won't fit, as you heard me talking about that at the beginning of the video, that I know some of the just flat informational stuff won't help me to prove my thesis. So if you guys have questions, please email me. And I look forward to seeing what you come up with. This is sort of like outlining, but a little bit differently. It's not a formal outline. You're just kind of jotting down ideas and writing rough drafts of thesis statements and rough drafts of topic sentences. I'll see you guys in class tomorrow.